Hey guys, it's your boy Zach. It's been a hot minute, hasn't it? Uh, I made that video earlier this year about making a modern BBS, so I finally want to do a follow-up and just tell you where I'm at. Because back then I didn't have anything to show; it was just an idea. But now I do. I have something kind of to show, but not very much. And that's because I've only actually been working on it for about a month. I took the whole summer off. I just hardly wrote any code at all, and it was rejuvenating and very good and healthy. But I'm back to my projects, and in particular to this one. So I just want to talk about it more and maybe get your feedback on where it's at right now. So the idea is to make a BBS that hopefully retains the spirit and the charm of BBSs from the 80s and 90s, but not necessarily tied to the technical implementations that they had. So, one way where it'll be pretty unique is, yes, it will run in a terminal, but it will also run on the web. You can access it either way, and I'm going to show you both today. So, again, I don't have a lot to show, but I can at least show what the interface might look like, and then I'll show you the web version. So imagine this is the front page of BBS, and of course it's keyboard driven, so you can scroll like this, and obviously there's ANSI art. You got to have ANSI art. So you can imagine like scrolling through the posts this way. If you want to drill down, like this one has 2 replies, you can drill down to that post and see the replies to it. And like this reply, I can select and then write a reply to it. So you could see you're just drilling down into this hierarchy. So now I click on this post here, and I could reply to it right there. This is a text post right here, so I can click on that and write a reply. So it basically would just try to render the posts in a page-like format where you can scroll, and obviously would also have a nice editor, which I can't show you right now, but it's going to be similar to the editor in ANSIWAVE right now, where it will let you type and it will also let you draw ANSI art. So that's a basic idea right now for how to scroll through posts. Now, question is, how would this work on the web? Well, it would look like this. So again, it's going to change a lot probably by the time I'm done, but this is the exact same thing, but rendering inside of Firefox. And I can scroll the way you normally would. I can click a post and view the replies to it just like I did in the terminal. And the way this works is I am running the same code as the terminal version, but I'm rendering it with WebGL. And I compiled everything using WebAssembly. So, the idea is try to hopefully share as much code as possible between them, so I'm not implementing the same thing twice. But also, keep the same look and feel in both versions. So that's the idea. So I want to release both of them at the same time, so you can browse the board either way. And obviously, most people are probably going to use the web version because it's more accessible and all that. But I don't know, the terminal version to me is like the reference version, like it's the version that really guides everything. So I want to make sure that it always is available, even if a lot of people aren't using it. So that's a bit on the interface. And a lot of that is going to change, I'm sure. But let me talk about the why question, because I don't think I did a good job in that last video of really talking about why I even want to build a BBS. And there are a couple of reasons here, but I suppose I'm not the only one who's feeling a bit uneasy about the direction that my field, software and technology, is heading. And I personally am feeling a bit uneasy about the centralization around the tech giants. They're just a handful of U.S. companies that have almost total control over online discourse, and now are pushing even more wild ideas about about the, what do they call it, the metaverse. This, by the way, is an illustration of some kid enjoying the metaverse. Oh God. No, I mean, I think there's a good chance that a lot of the technologies that they produce will be good and will have beneficial uses, and I don't doubt that at all. But I also don't trust them as far as I can throw them, and in particular, the way that online discourse has centralized under just a few big brands has made it very easy to censor, even without government involvement. So that's a scary thought. And so having a discussion system that is independent, not just independent of those companies, but independent of the web itself, I think will end up being a really valuable thing. But nonetheless, all of that nonsense doesn't matter to most people. So let's talk about what will actually be useful about this apart from that. Because I do think that this is not just a nostalgia play. I mean, yes, there's always some nostalgia involved, but there's more to it than that. There are a couple of things that I care about a lot that modern software cares very little about. And so if I can focus on them, then it will be a pretty big differentiator. So the first thing that I care about a huge amount is offline usability. My goal with this BBS is I want it to be possible for you to download any board and browse it entirely offline. And this is something you basically can never find in web-based discussion systems. It's just not a thing. Nobody cares about this. And the reason why it's important is not primarily for those times when you don't have internet access and you're on the subway and there's some I don't know, some like 5 mile distance where you don't have any internet access. That's not the whole point. I mean, that is nice if you can work offline during those times, but there's a more important reason for offline usability, and that is longevity. Just to give you an example, I spent a long time on message boards when I was a kid. When I was like 15 or 16, and I was participating in all these discussion boards about nerdy subjects like constructed languages and Isaac Asimov and Final Fantasy and so on. And I mean, most of that is gone forever. Most of those posts that I wrote, I'll never find again. And that's kind of sad, you know. And there's also a lot more important content than that has disappeared. And I know you're probably going to say, well, at least we have archive.org. And yeah, that is a good service, but that doesn't really fully solve the problem about the ephemerality of the web. You know, a web scraper, all it can do is save the HTML and other static files that the website was serving at that time. That's it. It's better than nothing, but you can't take an old message board that they scraped and host it somewhere else and continue serving it, allowing people to post to it, allowing people to search it. You know, you lose almost everything. And so what we need is a system that allows you to pull the content in its original form. And so how ANSIWAVE will work is the content is going to be stored in a SQLite database that is controlled using Git. That's my current idea. So you can imagine if you want to pull the entire board down, you could just do something like git clone, you know, whatever. Let's just say this is the URL, you know, board1.git. So you would clone it, and then you can just open it using the ANSIWAVE client. You can just do something like that. And yeah, obviously the average person is never going to do that, and that's not the point. The point here is not that everyone's going to use Git to to pull an offline copy of the board. Even if only a tiny percentage of people do it, it will ensure the longevity of the board. If I shut down my service one day, somebody will be able to take that content and host it somewhere else. And it won't just be static files like archive.org. They could actually rehost it somewhere because they'll have everything they need. They'll have it in its original form as a queryable database. And that's a beautiful thing. You know, I care a lot about longevity, and it's something that you can't find on the web today. So that's my current idea. I want to provide it as a Git repo, and that also means you can continuously Git pull it to get the latest posts. I think that would be like a really nice feature for the longevity of these boards. And the second thing besides that is I'm really interested in scriptability. And you know, I want you to be able to write little scripts, which again is not required, but a way to write little scripts that do interesting things inside of your posts. And ANSIWAVE already has a scripting language. Like if you saw the original ANSIWAVE video, I showed off this scripting language which you can use to make MIDI music. And so I already have a parser and all this stuff that I wrote. So my idea is I want to take this language and let you embed that inside of your posts here. And so in theory, you could write MIDI music, but you could also do other things. You can hold a poll. You could make text games, and maybe one day graphical games as well, just by writing simple you know, code inside of your posts. And you know, everybody and their mother is trying to do some kind of like beginner-friendly coding tool, and I guess they call it low code now. I don't know why they need to come up with new words for everything, but everyone is doing it, but I don't think anyone is mixing that concept with a message board. I think there's a lot of interesting collaboration you can create if you mix scripting with a message board, where people can reply to someone's post with code and maybe even interact with the post that they're replying to. There's so many interesting ideas there that we could play with. So that's the second thing, is scriptability. Like I think there's a lot of stuff we can do with that it could essentially turn it into a a programming platform, not just a message board. So, yeah. So those are the couple of maybe unique things about it. Offline usability and scriptability. And, I don't know to what extent those things matter to people, if they matter at all. But I don't care. I mean, my instinct is to go the opposite direction that everyone else is going. So when I look at tech giants today, well, they're going more and more in the direction of requiring you to be online all the time, signed into some centralized account, and interacting with their walled garden through, some proprietary API that they create. And if they're going in that direction, I want to go the exact opposite direction, which is I'm going to let you just take all your data offline if you fucking want to. and not even interact with my server. And if all the tech giants are going in the direction of like artificial intelligence and insanely complex algorithms, I want to go in the exact opposite direction. I want to go in the direction of I'm going to give you a deterministic feed with no crazy algorithms. And if you want to customize anything, here's a little scripting language. Have fun. It's like it's all about going the opposite direction that everyone else is going and just seeing where it takes you. So I could say more, but yeah, I'm getting a little tired here. So yeah, I think maybe I'll have something usable in a couple months. Okay, don't quote me on that, but I need at least a couple months because I can only do this in my free time and got other things going on. But I hope I can have something to show soon, and I hope you will like it. If not, then screw you.